Welcome back, everybody. Now let's go to item number 26. So in this one, in this concept, the principal and the rate were not given. But for the sake of the rest, compounding period, time, interest, and amount have already been given. Now, let's solve. So the first thing that we need to do is to solve for the principal. Why do we need to solve for the principal first? That's easy. You know why? Look, the amount and the interest are now given. So if you're asked to solve for the principal such that the interest and the amount are given, what do? Subtract. So A minus I equals P. Very good. So A minus I to give you the principal. And what's the principal? 150,000 pesos. Because if you remember, you do 155,600 minus 5,600. You're supposed to get your principal of 150,000 pesos. And that's the solution that I did here. Diba? So that is your principal. 150,000 pesos. Pero look at this. It says it's being compounded semi-annually, but look at our time unit. It's wrong. It's in months. Of course, I don't like it if it were in months. We want it in years. So don't worry. We can still convert the months into years. Paano gagawin yun? Yun ang criteria ng time conversion. So, applying time conversion, ito yung ginawa namin. So, applying the time conversion method, you should get this answer. Diba, remember, 1 year is worth 12 months. But you have 90 months. Anong gawin sa 90 months na yan? We have to convert. So, applying ratio. So, 90 divided by 12. And then, we get 90 over 12. Simplifying the fraction, we get 15 over 2. Since we divide them both by 6. 90 divided by 6 is 15. And 12 divided by 6 is 2. And you get the fraction of 15 halves, which can be simplified to 7 and 1 half. So therefore, our time unit is 7.5 years, or which we translate in decimal, 7.5 years. Okay? Now, this is already our time to apply the formula. So therefore, going back to our formula, P plus 1 plus R divided by C, raised to the CT power. And remember, our goal is to solve for the rate. Since nawala talaga yung rate, so ang goal na namin, ang mission na namin ay hanapin yung rate. So therefore, we have the principal, which is 150,000 pesos, plus 1, plus, ang missing namin dyan ay yung rate. Wala ang rate. The rate is missing as of now. And then we divided by the compounding period, which is, ano yung compounding period namin? Going back to our problem. So our compounding period is semi-annually. So when we say semi-annually, how many times are we going to visit the bank? In a year? 2 times. So twice. So divide that by 2. Dahil semi-annually, di ba? And then it's being raised to the 2 times 7 and 1 halves. So 2 times 7 and 1 halves, di ba, multiplying fractions, or 7.5, you're gonna raise that to the 15th power. And then whatever answer you get, you should get the answer of the future value, which is 155,600 pesos. So now what's our first step? The first step that we need to do is to, di ba, remember sabi ko dito, ang ginawa namin kapag binemdas namin, we can solve this formula in reverse. So to solve this formula in reverse, we just have to subtract. So we just have to do this. Di ba, remember this comes first, di ba? Division inside the parentheses. And then adding inside the parentheses. Third step, we exponent that. And then fourth step, whatever answer we get from all the three, we multiply it by 150,000. Diba? And that's what we're gonna do. So, to apply it in reverse, what comes the last step before we get this answer? You multiply by 150. So, whatever answer we do, we divide that by 150,000. So, dividing both sides by 150,000, crossing out the 2 zeros, therefore, we should get 1,556 over 1,500. Diba? Can we simplify this further? Actually, that's really a big number. So, therefore, I would rather use a calculator to help me do this. So, actually, if I were to do this, I have already put there in my solution sheet. We can divide this both by 4. So, when we do that, 1,556 divided by 4, we get 3, 12, 35, 8, 32. Yeah, it can't be divisible. It can't be divisible. Wait. 32 pala. That's 3. So, 36. So, 389. So, 389 over 1,500. So, divide by 4. This becomes, ano yun? 3. 3 times 4, 12. 37, 28, 20, 375. So, therefore, that's supposed to be our answer. So, we're gonna have to divide that by, so we're gonna have to divide. So, I just simplified the fraction. Now, going to the calculator, we have 389 divided by 375. We should get this answer. 1.0373. Looking back at my solution sheet, did we get that answer? Yes, we should get that answer. Or you can just remain it as a fraction. So, rewriting it now, we already have 1 plus r divided by 2 raised to the 15th power is equivalent to 389 over 375. Now, what we do now? What's the next step? We have to root it because, diba, remember, before we multiply, we have to, ano yun, raise it to that power. So, rooting it by 15. Pero let's say, just what I said, if in case now your calculator does not have anything like that, this is what you would rather do. Put the fraction of 389 divided by 375 and then raise it to an exponent such that it's, ano yun, fractional. So, 1 over 15 to give you 1.002. So, that should be your answer. So, now we have, after taking the root of that, we should get 1 plus r over squared is equivalent to 1.002446443. Hey, did you know this implies the application of, ano yun, rational equations? Pero I think it's better pa talaga, we just, ano yun, get the LCD. So, the LCD here is 2. So, when we apply the LCD of getting 2, multiplying on both sides, dapat we should do this. Diba remember? Aya, kasi nga for some people, they would rather subtract it by 1 and then they multiply it by 2 afterwards. Pero if you want to apply the rational functions criteria, you can do it like this. So, our LCD namin is 2. So, we multiply everything by 2. So, here we have 2. And then here, the 2's cancel. So, 2 plus r is equivalent to this answer being multiplied by 2. Diba? So, I multiply this by 2. And then, this is what we do. Multiplying that by 2, we should get 2.00489. That's supposed to be our answer. 2.004893087. And then, back to one linear step equation. Subtracting both sides by 2. What's the value of r? R is equivalent to 0.004893087. Shifting the decimal places 2 places to the right. So, therefore, our rate should be 0.49%. Did we get that answer? Let's double check. So, ang ginawa ko dito sa solution sheet ko, ito yung ginawa ko. So, looking back at my solution sheet, ang ginawa ko dito ay ganito. So, diba remember, I did this formula. And then, I divide both sides by 150,000 first. And then, I come up with this answer. And then, I rooted by 15. And therefore, I should come up with the answer of 0.1. Ano yun? I should come up with, ano yun? 1.002446453 something. Kasi nga, di ba remember dito, ang ginawa ko ay subtracted by 1 so that I can get r divided by 2. Alam mo, to be honest, kung wala yung, ano yun, kung yung r ay walang denominator, it's already direct. We already got another rate. But because, you know naman, since r has a rate, has a compounding period, therefore, we have to multiply. Of course, you can also apply that method. Pero ang ginawa ko, nag-rational ako. Pero either way, if you were to do applying solving for rational equations using LCD or just subtracting the constant, you can still get the right answer din either way. So, ang ginawa ko dito, I just subtracted by 1 and then I have r divided by 2 is equivalent to this, multiplying by 2. So, therefore, our answer is still the same. 0.004893086. Yan. And therefore, your answer is supposed to be 0.49% if I were to round that off. So, therefore, yun ang tamang sagot. Now, going back now to our literal formula, we still get the same answer. Diba? So we have this one. Yan. So therefore, we have the principal of 150,000. Sige, let's do this first. Diba, remember our rate is 0.4, what's the rate? 0.49. So therefore, it's 0.049. Diba? And then divide by the rate, which divide by the compounding period, which is 2. Diba? And we're supposed to get this answer. Then you add it by 1. You get 1.0245 something. Then you raise that to the 15th power. Because, diba, remember, that's how it's meant to be done, diba? You're supposed to get this answer. And then multiplying it by the principal, which is 150,000, you should still get the same answer, which is 155,600 something. Which is the same answer that you got here. Although there's a discrepancy, pero di bale, okay lang yan. And that's it for number 6, okay? Now, let's go to the next number. For number 7, this is the problem that I'm having right now. For number 7, this is the catch what we're gonna talk about right now, guys. Because in number 7, look, we have the principal, which is 300,000 pesos. We have the rate. The rate is, ano yun? The rate is, we have the rate. The rate is 0.8%. It's compounded annually. Ayan, compounded annually. So you're in luck. No compounding period. For the rate, we don't need to divide by the compounding period. Neither for the exponent. We have to, multiply it by the compounding period. Pero, I have a problem now. Speaking about exponent, look at the value of the exponent. Look at the value of our time. It's unknown. It's not there. So, how do we solve for the time? To solve for the time, ganito kasi yung mangyayari. But look, di ba remember good news? Our interest is already given, but our amount is not found. This one, you have to utilize using P plus I equals A in order for you to get the amount. So, therefore, we have 300,000 pesos plus 20,000 pesos to give you 320,000 pesos. And that's the answer that you're supposed to be getting. Diba? So, ganito yung solution sheet ko. So, ito yun. Diba, remember dapat we're supposed to get yun? Inputting the values, we have 300,000 pesos, which is our principal. And then 1 plus 0.008. Diba, remember this 0.8%, converting it into decimal, we shift the decimal place 2 places to the left, and dapat we should get 0.008. Diba? And adding it together, we should get 1.008 raised to the t power is equivalent, then multiplied by 300,000 to give you 320,000 pesos. So, what is the first step? So, now this is the problem because our time is missing. But don't worry, we can still solve for the time by using a certain something. But first, let's simplify whatever we need to simplify. Is there anything that we can simplify? If there is, what is it? Correct. The principal and the future value. Kasi ito ba, remember, applying our step in forwards, we do this. We do 1 plus the rate, and then we raise it to the t power. But because our t is not given, so therefore, all we have to do is to just divide. We have to, it's not given. So we need to simplify everything. And then whatever answer we get from raising 1.008 to the t power, you should get, and then you will have to multiply that by 300,000 to give you this answer. So we have to work it backwards. So the thing there is, we need to divide both sides by 300,000. And doing so, 320,000 divided by 300,000, you cross out 4 zeros, and you get 32 over 30, which simplifies to 15 over 16. So therefore, this is already your answer. And you have 1.008 raised to the t power is equivalent to 16 over 15. Now, do you know what we're going to do here? Based on this particular concept? Because look, everything's already simplified, diba? Isn't it neat? Look at the look again. It's neat, right? What do you think? Nalinis na ba? Syempre, ang linis. Now, it's easy na talaga for us to solve for letter T. But, the problem is, T is in the exponent. So how can we solve for the exponent? What do we do? Take the log. Very good. I-take ng log ng number na yan. So i-take the log so that we can get the answer. So taking the log, we should get log. Diba remember, this is the base, diba? Identify, okay, review muna tayo sa exponential functions. Diba remember, if you look at this 1.008 raised to the t power is equivalent to 16 divided by 15. Let's find this out ourselves. What is the base? Ano yung base namin? Ang base ay 1.008. Tama? That's the base. What's the exponent? The exponent is here. Raised to t. What's the answer? 16 over 15. So therefore, we're gonna have to take the log. So therefore, if we translate this exponential equation into a log, hey, this reminds me, this implies the application of solving for the value of the exponent using the rules of logs. Diba? So this is when logs come in handy. So we need the nifty log to help us here. Pero if we were to translate the logarithmic equation, remember, the base is 1.008. Diba? And then our what do you call this? Our answer, that is 16 over 15. And then you get t. So that's why your answer should be like this. Log base 1.008 of 16 over 15 is equivalent to the value of t. Diba? Pero sometimes, here's a catch. Because sometimes the base, sometimes in your calculator, you can't type a specific base. Because in most calculators, they're given like that. Lucky for me, I can just take the log base 1.008 of 16 over 15 so that I can get the answer. So if I were to get this answer, ganito kasi yun. Diba remember ganito yung calculator ko? So hanapin ko yung log base x. Diba remember kung sabi dito log base x, ibig sabihin nakita mo to yung log base x. So yan, nakita mo to, diba? So yung log base x, ibig sabihin you can put any number you want for the value of x. So let's put our value of 1.008, which is our base. And then in the fraction, we put here 15 over 16. 16 over 15 pala. And we should get 8.0954 as our time. Or 8.1 years. Diba? So 8.1 years yung sagot if I were to round it off. So kung nag-round off ako, dapat the answer should be 8.1 years. Pero, just like what I said, di ba remember sabi ko sa'yo, if you can't do this, you can also apply the log in this manner. Kasi nga, that is the direct to the point formula. Kasi nga, normally, you don't have logs that you will just have normal logs with log base 10. Unless na meron kang log base x, you're lucky. So therefore, kung meron kang ano, you can just type the specific base. Pero let's say, for the sake of those people, kung wala kayong log base x, ganito kasi yung manggagawa. Natandaan mo ba yung change of base formula method? So yung change of base method formula of logs is like this. Like halimbawa, di ba remember, for example, you have, di ba remember, you want to solve for, ano yun? You want to solve for 10 raised to what power gives you 10,000. Di ba? If you are to apply the change of base method, di ba you take the log of 10, raised to the 1,000 power, and it's equivalent to x. We know dapat it's supposed to be 4. Pero, to do this, dapat you're gonna have to divide. So, therefore, on the top, log of 10,000 on the numerator, divide by log of 10 on the denominator. Simplifying this, we get 4 over 1, which simplifies to 4. So, therefore, that's the change of base method. So, and then the x, we're gonna have to bring it to one side of the equation so that we can solve for the value. So, yun dapat ang gagawin namin. So, that's how we do it. Because if we do logs of both sides, dapat, we are going to have to bring the x to one side of the equation. So, yan. So, ang gagawin namin dito, sa particular concept na to, ay ganito. Getting my sheet of paper, right over here. Sorry for the mess, guys. Pero yun po talaga yung mangyayari. So, di ba remember, we have this. Di ba remember, this is my paper. This is my, ano yun? My paper, di ba? So, we have this answer. Di ba remember, we're stuck at log. We have, ano yun? 1.08 raised to the t power, it's equivalent to 15 over 16. So kung wala kayong logs, if in case you don't have logs, the thing that you can do for this particular concept is this. Remember, if you take the log, therefore it will happen on both sides. If you take the log on one side, it will be log base 1.08. Pero let's say, what if you don't have base 10? If you have base 10, so ganito yung mangyayari. So therefore you have log of 1.008 is equivalent to log of 16 over 15. And then the t that you see here, it slides here. And it's being multiplied by this entire quantity. Diba? And then, all we have to do is to just simplify the fraction. So, in order for us to get t all by itself, we need to divide both sides by the log that has the variable, which is log base 10 of 1.008. And this is what we're gonna do. So we're gonna have to divide that, diba? Log 1.008. 1.008, diba? And we can simplify this further. So, diba, remember yung log base 16 over 15, that can be simplified to log of 16. Diba, remember applying the rules of logs, diba? When you have a quotient law, if you are to expand it, you just do log, and then numerator, and then on the denominator, log of 15. Diba? And then in the denominator, we have log of 1.08. Diba? So we can just do it this way. Diba? At saka yung log base 16, log base 10 of 16, that can be simplified to, this can be simplified to 2 raised to the 4th power, and log base 10 of 2 is 3.01. Diba? So 4 times log base 2. Diba? So yan, let me write it here. So therefore, you have log 2, 4 times log base 2, base 10 of 2, and then we have log of 15. Kasi remember, this is log base 10 raised to the 2 raised to the 4th power. So the 4 sides down. And then yung 15 naman, dapat, if we were to evaluate this log without a calculator, so dapat we're gonna do minus log of 15. Pero if you were to simplify that, that would be 3 times 5. Diba? And because it's being multiplied, we can just simplify this to minus log of 3 minus log of 5. So therefore, 4 log of 2 minus log of 3 minus log of 5. All divide by log of 1.008. Isn't it more simpler that way? Yan, and then we can already simplify this, but using a calculator. So let's see how we can get this answer. So diba, remember we did here 4 times log of, ano yun? Log of 2. Diba? That's being multiplied. And then minus log of 3 minus log of 5. What answer did we get? We get the answer of 0.028. Diba? We get the answer of 0.028. Did we get that answer? Check ko yung solution sheet ko para tama. Yan, so that's in the numerator. On the numerator we should have 0.02802802872361. Diba? That is our numerator. Now what about the denominator? The denominator is, ayan, we get the same answer here, diba? We should get this answer 0.028028722361. And then we take the log of 1.008. So typing it in our calculator, log of 1.008, what answer did we get? We should get 0.034. Yan. So 0.003460 something. So that should be on the denominator. So on the denominator we have 0.003460521111. Diba? And then all we have to do to the two arguments is to divide so that we can solve for t. Because diba remember ang value na hinanap namin ay si letter t. So we need to find the value of t. Diba? So dividing both of these numbers out. Diba? So if you want to do the shortcut, if you want to do the exact formula, you can just do this. You can just do log 4 times log of 2. Can you see what I'm putting here? 4 times log of 2 minus log of 3 minus log of 5. And then on the denominator, we have log of 1.008. That is how you apply the change of base formula. And doing that, do you think you will still get the same answer of 8.1 years? Yes, correct. You still got the same answer. So therefore, the time is 8.1 years. So therefore, what can we ensue? We ensue that the time is 8.1 years. Yan. To double check with our calculator, let's see if we get the right answer din. So remember, we have our principal of 300,000 pesos, diba? And then we have 1 plus the rate of 0.008, diba? And then raise that to the 8.1 power, which is the time, diba? And then what did we get? We should get 32,000. We should get that's 300,000 pala, sorry. Yan, we should get 320,001. Although my 1 peso per divide, what is important, we still get almost exactly the accurate answer. So yun lang. And going back to my solution sheet, you can also do it this way. Ang ginawa ko, I brought down the log, the t, and the t signs down, and then we apply the change of base method formula. And we can do it. Di ba remember yun ang sabi ko kanina, di ba? So yan. And then I did it this way. Applying evaluating logs. Then applying the rules of logs that I told you. At dapat yun yung sagot. Di ba? And then divide your answer. Tama, you still get the same answer din. And that's it.